think that so the demolition of the past pretty much makes history, time, culture all abstract. So you can all use all these words, but you don't really understand it. Mm-hmm. But there's nothing for you to make that connection. So everything becomes instant. So I think that's a huge problem. So the fear, of course, is that are we getting more civilized, or we're getting more barbarian? that's a big question today, not only for China, of course, even for in a lot of cultures. At least it's an open-ended question, but I think from time to time, unfortunately, we see the answer, which is not terribly optimistic, of course. So we have a lot of that. And, the interesting thing is that, so with all the newly accumulated wealth, a lot of people are getting very rich in China, but fewer people getting a better life. Because without culture, without this sense of history, they don't even know what is a good life. So it's always just buying something really big. So this fascination with size says so much about this inability to imagine the quality of life. So that's why it's always the same. Okay, getting a Louis Vuitton bag, right? Okay, so there's a bigger one. It's a Mercedes-Benz car, right? It unfortunately, of course, it shouldn't be like this, right? But right now, without culture, with these big boys, they could only be that if they're lucky and have the money. Yeah, just for now, hopefully. but it's pretty bad. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, but in my case, I have to tell you, I think today uncertainty or short life of the building these things do change the way we look at design. But however, I don't believe it should really affect the quality, but rather it's a different way to really look at architecture. I have a friend who's a Belgian who actually thought, since the world is changing so fast, the only kind of architecture would make sense would be the big box in American suburbia, this big dumb shopping mall. But could one do a big open shed, basically, big structure in an intelligent way that it would accommodate change, and metabolism and so on. These ideas are very much alive. So for me, uncertainty in a short lifetime in architecture, conceptually at least, could be something very interesting to explore more. There are a lot of Western influence. So we're in the era of globalization, and a lot of people, again, like myself, we studied abroad, and so we were and we are still exposed to a lot of Western culture, so that would be one common thread for almost everyone except Liu Jiakun. I think now there is a renewed interest in that regard, which was actually the problem for Chinese architecture for many, many years. Architects with Beaux-Arts education, they are, and with a very slow economy, they pretty much gave up on the materialistic side of architecture. There were some doing materialistic, just literal forms of the traditional architecture, but do it with concrete and without really paying attention to the quality of concrete and so on. And then there were people who would even pay no attention to materials and still worked all along as architects. And it's pretty difficult to imagine that now, perhaps, but that was the case